Hello there, welcome back to Tubi Tuesday. I'm Scotty, you're not. And we're talking about the Chaperone, starring Triple H, released by WWE Films in 2011. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Okay, now I'm gonna stop. So, why is that thing? So back in the day, I don't know what it sounded like that. WWE had its own movie studio. Started back in 2004. Whenever the Marine came out, so 2005, they had their own little thing. Technically, Scorpion King and Walking Tall were a part of that, but not officially. There was work with Lionsgate and other places that would bring in when we get movies like The Marine, 12 Rounds, See No Evil, Knucklehead, Inside Out, but not the Disney one. That was also really weird when you try to look up that movie, try to search on eBay for that movie, and you have to put in a specific year it came out because the Disney one is also out there. The Resurrection of Gavin Stone, the Marine sequels, the 12 Round sequels, Condemned, Condemned 2, See No Evil 2, and many others that kind of started to kind of dissipate over the years. I didn't know if they still do those anymore, but at one point the Fall Guy was supposed to be a WWE movie starring The Rock, but now that completely changed. Why do I have to itch so much? Hold on. So the movie tells the story of Ray Bradstone, played by Triple H, who was a criminal who was locked away in prison for being a escape driver, getaway driver. I'm not gonna keep doing that. But he gets out and wants to reconnect with his daughter. But it runs afoul when he ends up sort of turning back to the life of crime, but changes his mind in the last minute. But some shenanigans happen that ends up with the money from the robbery ended up on the bus that he is, which he is the chaperone for his daughter's field trip. Yeah, it's very convoluted how they have to set this up so that LaRue and this other guy chase after him. Very convoluted. Like, we'll get to it. We start off with Ray Bradstone, Triple H, with fake beard. I remember when I first watched this, I thought it was real. Like, oh, they had him keep his beard and then shave it off. Because he did come back to WWE shortly after filming, and he did have clean shaven for a couple weeks, and then it came back. But, like, because this was when he was becoming the COO around this time, I think. But anyway, so he's got fake beard, and I remember, like I said, the first time I thought it was real. But then, like, watching it now, I'm looking at this, I'm going, even with my bad eyesight, I'm thinking, that's fake. The thing is fake. What the hell? That's fake, you know? So he's on this radio talk show, self-help line thing, and he's basically talking about how he got out, and this radio helped him change his ways, and this radio show helped him change his ways, and everything's gonna be different. He's gonna try to reconnect with his daughter and all that. So he gets out, he says goodbye, although he's like, so what do I do? And like, well, usually something stupid. And he's like, hey, I'll keep it warm for you, like he's expecting him to come back. He gets out, And it is met by his former cohort LaRue, played by Kevin Corcoran, I think is his name. You would notice him. He was the Eddie in Grounded for Life. He was also in Pineapple Express. You see him, you know it's that guy. But he's like, hey, Ray, I got a job for you. He's like, no, I've gone clean. Hey, come on, get in the car, take you wherever you want. He's like, I drive. So he gets in, and obviously he then takes off on him, leaving LaRue behind. Because, yeah, that's still Grand Theft Auto, and I know LaRue's a criminal, but you can still call the cops on him. He doesn't. And he goes to visit his daughter, and his ex-wife, who is not who I thought she was going to be. Forgot the actress's name, but Annabeth Gish, I think, is the actress. But I'm like, I thought it was Parker Posey. And upon further research, I realized that was Inside Out. That was the other Triple H movie that he did. It was Inside Out, not this one. But she's now dating Enrico Galantoni. You know, we are Thamians from the Cartoon Nebula and we need your help. Yes, him. He was from Just Shoot Me as well, but you... Come on. It's Balthazar. It's Mathazar. We are Thamians from the Cartoon Nebula and we need your help. Yes, him. Now, let me ask a question. How does she go from big, muscly, ponytailed Triple H to short, stocky, not fat, but stocky, bald dude like Enrico Galantoni? Do you think a woman like this would have a type? That she would date some other muscly dude, right? Look at, I don't know. I guess you can't go with, I was going to say Daddy's Home, but you can't go with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. But Mark Wahlberg at the end of that movie is dating another woman, and her ex-husband is John Cena. So, she has a thing for muscly guys. Most women have a thing for certain kind of people. For my ex, it was people who are going bald, apparently. Because I'm bald, and the next guy she got with, he was going bald, so... I don't know. But, I'm not completely bald. But he'd been going bald since we were in high school. So... his is worse than mine, I think. But anyway. Yeah. She tries to reconnect with his daughter. She wants nothing to do with him. And then he shows up at her school for some reason to talk to her something. And he's talking to the teacher, played by Yeardley Smith, Lisa Simpson. And it's painfully obvious. And it's kind of her voice is kind of distracting because you hear her talk, and it's just Lisa Simpson. Maybe she pitches it up a bit, but when she does Lisa, but it's just Lisa Simpson. It's very distracting. Then she offers Ray to become a chaperone on their field trip in New Orleans. So, and Sally's like, no, you're not doing that. No. And he wants to do it, but she says no. So then he ends up taking this job to rob a bank, in which the bank robbers, LaRue and the other two, are dressed as George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, and Condoleezza Rice. And even Triple H goes, really? Condi Rice? What? And that even distracts the lady at the desk when they're robbing the place. But Ray has an epiphany when he's in there because he sees Sally and he's like, no, I'm not doing this. So he gets out of the getaway car, throws the keys in the bush, which later they do say, oh, we found your prints on the keys to the getaway car. And I'm like, yeah, that was probably stupid. Why not keep the keys with you? Because either way, you throw away the keys, you keep the keys. I get it. Throw away the keys so they can't get away. Sure. But you throw away the keys. But then your fingerprints are on them. But you keep the keys. Then there's no, nothing like that. They still won't be able to get away. And my question is, if you're trying if you want to distance yourself from this, why not just leave the keys in there? They can get away. Now, if they get caught, they might name Ray, but he left the keys in the ignition, so they'll be less inclined to drag him down with them. Whereas here, if they get caught, they'll say, oh, our getaway driver threw the keys away. His name is Ray Bradstone. If you don't believe me, check the prints. Wherever the keys are. I don't know. But this causes shenanigans because they get in the car and they don't see him if they don't realize he's gone at first because they got the mask on. And like, what? So we'll stay here. We'll stay here to be fine. They don't know we robbed the place. But that goes south. So they start running. And one of them, who's carrying the money, goes in the opposite direction and drops the bag of money with the luggage from the school trip as Ray shows up and is part of the trip. And as they're driving around trying to get away from the cops, they just so happen to see Ray, on the bus and find a way to follow him. Meanwhile, two detectives are on the case and they go to the hospital room with the guy who kind of directs them towards Ray. And then one guy, the Dick Tracy had, is like, oh, I talked to the guy and I arrested him. And he said, thank you, I'm going to turn my life around. I thought he really meant it. I'm like, of course he really meant it. But, yeah, this whole thing is, yeah. It's here, on the booth, that we see a couple of familiar faces. Besides Sally, who I haven't mentioned yet, is Ariel Winter from, Modern Family. And her various cooking projects on Instagram. I follow her, by the way. She cooks a lot of interesting things. So does Tiffany Amber Thiessen. I don't know. I stumbled across her on Instagram once. I didn't see her out. I'm just going through and I see her cooking something. I like cooking stuff. So I'm like, okay, wasn't that time. It was the second time. I'm like, oh, another one? Fine. Because you watch it and then it catches the algorithm and it keeps showing you those. So I'm like, it's going to keep showing me anyway. Might as well follow, But, yeah. I like food stuff. Obviously. So, yeah. So now, somehow, these fucking idiots, mostly LaRue, thinks that the guy who ran off, the third guy that was with them, that ran off with the money, was in on it with Ray, and deliberately dropped the money on the bus so Ray could get away with it. The level of idiocy in these two. Even when they tell him about it, he's like, what do you mean I was with him? I barely know him. I just met him for the first time. Like, he's got a point. He's got a point. But, so, he's trying to reconnect with his daughter. Like I said, on this bus, we get some familiar faces. You don't know. So, there's a little redheaded bully type kid who ends up becoming sort of friendly later. That is Jake Austin Walker from Stargirl. Brainwave Jr. Yeah. It was also in a National Treasure show that was not that bad and shouldn't have got canceled after one season, but you know what? Yeah. Then the other kid, Josh, that the girls have a thing for, I'm like, he looks familiar, and I looked him up. That's Israel Broussard, a.k.a. What's his face from the Happy Death Day movies? The one that Tree keeps waking up in his bedroom? Carter. Yeah, Carter. I'm like, he looks, where do I know him? And I looked him up and I'm like, it's Carter. That's the one I recognize. I was looking at anyone else that I don't recognize and I clicked the one and I'm like, Jake Walker. And I clicked it, Jake Austin Walker. Oh, it's him. And I'm like, the only one I can think of is the redheaded bully type kid who does the spitball in Triple H's face and he gets, stop the bus. Like, oh, we don't do that. We don't yell in their faces. I don't know what I'm trying to do with Yearly Smith's voice. But there's this thing. They go to the museum and they're what you call it? Person who it's not a chaperone, it's the tour guide. The tour guide is not there, so apparently Ray Bradstone knows about dinosaurs, So he's talking about oviraptors, and he's like, "Do you know what current species of animal are descended from dinosaurs?" Everyone's throwing us like they're trying to be smart. They're like, lizards, alligators, nope, dogs. Wait, so you think dinosaurs evolved into animals that are carried in Paris Hilton's purse? In a purse by Paris Hilton? Cats? No. And someone yells out, chickens. And he's like, "You're absolutely right. Birds. It's birds." Which, yeah, because the term for bird of prey is raptor. These kids should have already learned that. But, as my son has proven, all the important things that they used to teach us when we were kids, they don't anymore. Yep, because I made you learn about this? No. You're in middle school, you haven't learned about that? No. They don't teach stuff like that anymore. Like talking about World War II and stuff. I've talked about, like, you learn about Martin Luther King in school? I think they do because Martin Luther King Day is a thing. They used to have an assembly for that all the time. I don't think they have a school to go to school anymore for that anymore. I don't know. But, like, I don't know. But, yeah, I don't teach a lot of things in school anymore. But at this point in 2011, kids would already know that raptor thing. But while he's leading this tour group, somehow LaRue and the other guy, who I'm going to call Busted Nose, because things, are there. They're like, "Hey, Ray, we want our money." "Your money?" "Yeah, we saw your little pal put it on the bus. I'll get your money." Like, he does fight with them. He pulls the fire alarm. He's like, "Oh, we gotta go. He pulls the fire alarm. He punches the one guy in the nose, which is why he's Busted Nose for the rest of this. He gets punched twice here, and it's funny. But then they do get away. "Okay, we gotta meet somewhere. I'll give you your money." And he goes to meet them. And he's going to do that. He's like, "Hey, I'm right here. I got your money. I'll meet you at this cafe." But two cops pull up, and they see LaRue and Busted Nose. And Ray goes back the other way, so they're not able to meet. They do it, you know. And so, well, he drives the bus, leaves the bus driver behind. He does eventually. "Well, we gotta go, you know." And the teacher's trying to, they go to the top of the cafe, they have lunch there, and it's fine. And he starts to kind of reconnect with his daughter, and that's really good. Because he talks to that Josh guy, what do kids like nowadays, Takes her to a music place. And he's name dropping these musicians that no Triple H doesn't talk about, like Frank Sinatra and a couple other ones. And I'm like, no, he'd be like, "You got any Motorhead, Metallica, stuff like that, But yeah, so he kind of really starts to reconnect with her, but things go south because he says he's going to bring the money to the location, but they get there first and they kidnap his daughter. And we get a line that was in the trailers that is so dumb. Busted Nose goes, "You do anything wrong or look at me the wrong way, I will shoot your old man and then shoot you in front of him." And she goes, "That makes no sense." It's like, yeah, you want to do it the other way around. I will shoot you in front of your old man and then shoot him. Not that it would bother her. She'd be dead at that point anyway. She does eventually get away. I don't remember how. Because when they set up this meeting, he leaves her. I think he rescues her because he leaves her with the other kids, and they come up with a plan to help Ray. And so her and the kids try to track Ray down and track his cell phone, and she's trying to set it up, and then they lead the cops there. There's one girl who, I guess her lip fillers are swollen up or something. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to that subplot. But they have the trade-off. But it's a sting operation because the cops show up and arrest LaRue and Busted Nose. Because he was on... They were actually recording everything to that talk show thing that he did. That advice talk show thing. So the cops show up, they arrest LaRue and Busted Nose, and they go to arrest Ray. We're like, hey, he's innocent. And the girl's like, yeah, I believed him. And the cop's like, I believe him too, but I guess it was wrong. And the other cop's like, nah, let him go. It is broadcasted live on a radio station. The whole thing. He's innocent. His fingerprints were still on the keys to the getaway car, which means he was there and can still be prosecuted. He'll probably get less time and a slap on the wrist, but he was still involved. He should still get arrested. They have his fingerprints on the keys to the getaway car. He at least, and they know he at least drove them there. Whatever, we need a happy ending. So the mom shows up and she slaps him and says, oh, I deserve that. And she's like, that's for leaving us. Oh, I deserve that. You know, and so he's reconnected with his daughter and everything seems to be okay with him and his ex-wife. Even more so, because we cut to, 5 months later or something? Or sometime later. And he is, sounds like he's going for a job interview, but he's really getting ready for a date with his ex-wife. Yeah, fuck you and Rico Canatoni. Whatever he did that. Yeah, I don't know. And then he is working at this radio station for the advice column, and LaRue calls him. Hey, Ray. LaRue? Yeah, I need a little advice, you know. And basically, he gives him 2 things. He says, hey, make sure you sleep with your back to the cell wall. Yeah, that. Yeah. And thus ends the movie. It was fine. It was pretty good. I'll give it a very high middle of the road. It's not high art. It's not. It can be something to fill an hour and a half of your time, and it's fine. It's fine for what it is. These WWE movies are nothing to write home about. There's some good ones. I might even put this in number 10 in the top 10. You know, it's definitely better than Knucklehead and Jingle All the Way too. Yes, that is a thing. And See No Evil too. And the first Condemned. I don't care for the first Condemned. The second one's pretty good. I don't care for the first one. My opinions on the Condemned movies. I have reviews for both of them. I did them during WrestlePalooza. I did a wrestling movies with wrestlers, you know. But so what are your thoughts on the Chaperone? Leave a comment below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna pick the next one. We're getting down to the nitty-gritties. Just one of the guys. Oh, I didn't take it out of there. Whoops, let's try that again. I was like, wait a minute. I forgot to take it out of there. Let's try that one more time. And it actually is Leviathan with Peter Weller. Been interested in seeing that for a while. So, we'll do that. So, thank you for watching. I'm this guy, and I'll see you in the next one.